I think the Earth is flat because of the following reasons. 1. Lack of observable curvature. I argue that when you look at the horizon, whether from a beach or from an airplane, it always appears flat. The horizon is a straight line, not curved, which I interpret as evidence that the Earth is not a globe. If Earth were a sphere, we would never see a consistent curve. 2. Water always levels. The principle that water finds its level is an important one. I claim that if the Earth were curved, large bodies of water, like oceans, should show some curvature or bulging at the horizon. However, water remains flat, not curved. 3. Perspective and the vanishing point. Distant objects, such as ships or mountains, disappear from the bottom up due to perspective, not because of a curved Earth. Things disappear due to atmospheric effects and limitations of human vision, not the curvature of the planet. 4. Flight patterns. I believe that point to long-distance flight patterns, which sometimes take detours or unusual routes that don't make sense on a globe. These routes would be more direct on a flat Earth map, indicating that global maps are inaccurate and that Earth is flat. 5. The Antarctic ice wall. Antarctica is not a continent at the bottom of the globe, but a massive ice wall surrounding the edges of a flat Earth. This wall supposedly prevents people from seeing or falling off the edge, and it is heavily guarded or restricted to keep people from discovering the truth. 6. Lack of direct evidence for curvature in experiments, sometimes experiments such as the Bedford level experiment, where people try to observe curvature across long distances of water. These experiments fail to show any observable curvature, indicating a flat surface.
Let's take your points one by one and explore them using scientific evidence and reasoning. 1. Lack of observable curvature. You mentioned that the horizon appears flat, even from a plane or a beach, which you take as evidence for a flat Earth. However, this observation can be explained by the vast size of the Earth. The Earth has a circumference of roughly 40,075 kilometers, 24,901 miles, making the curvature so slight at human eye level that it's not easily detectable without the aid of instruments or vantage points from much higher altitudes. At higher altitudes, e.g. around 35,000 feet in commercial aircraft, the curvature of the Earth does become more noticeable. Also, photos from space, such as those taken by astronauts aboard the International Space Station, clearly show the Earth as a globe. 2. Water always levels. The idea that water finds its level is true, but it doesn't imply flatness. Water conforms to the gravitational field of Earth, which is spherical. The oceans, for instance, curve around the Earth's surface because of gravity. If Earth were flat, gravity would behave differently, and we wouldn't see phenomena like water pooling into round droplets in zero gravity or objects falling uniformly toward the ground. Furthermore, satellite imagery and GPS confirm that the sea level conforms to the curvature of the Earth, allowing us to measure the height of mountains and depths of oceans in relation to this curved surface. 3. Perspective and vanishing point. The idea that objects disappear from the bottom up due to perspective rather than curvature is inconsistent with observational data. On a flat Earth, distant objects would simply appear smaller and smaller as they moved away, but would not disappear from the bottom up. This effect is due to the Earth's curvature. For example, when a ship sails over the horizon, the hull disappears first, followed by the mast. This is something that wouldn't happen on a flat surface. On a flat Earth, the entire ship would just shrink uniformly until it became too small to see. The curvature of the Earth blocks the lower parts of the ship as it moves away. 4. Flight patterns. You mentioned that flight paths seem odd on a globe and suggest that they make more sense on a flat Earth map. This argument overlooks the fact that flight paths are influenced by a variety of factors: the jet stream, wind currents, air traffic regulations, and geopolitical restrictions. Flight routes are not purely dictated by distance, but by efficiency, safety, and fuel economy. On a spherical Earth, the shortest path between 2 points is a great circle, which may look curved on a flat map, but is actually the most direct route on a globe. This explains why flights sometimes appear to take circuitous routes. They're actually following the shortest possible path on a curved surface. 5. The Antarctic ice wall. The idea of an Antarctic ice wall surrounding a flat Earth is not supported by any credible evidence. Antarctica has been extensively explored and mapped, and satellite imagery shows it as a continent at the southern pole of the globe. Thousands of people, from researchers to tourists, have visited Antarctica, and there's no hidden ice wall or restricted zone preventing exploration. The Antarctic Treaty regulates activity there, but it doesn't restrict people from visiting or conducting scientific research. The idea of a guarded ice wall simply doesn't hold up to scrutiny given the number of expeditions and satellite data available. 6. Lack of curvature in experiments. The Bedford level experiment is often cited as evidence for a flat Earth, but it has been debunked. The original experiment did not account for atmospheric refraction, which bends light over long distances and gives the illusion of a flat surface. Later versions of this experiment, with more precise methods, confirm the curvature of the Earth. There are many other experiments, such as observations of lunar eclipses, which always cast a round shadow from Earth, and high-altitude balloon footage that clearly demonstrate the curvature of the Earth.
Here are some additional points often used to support the idea of a flat Earth, along with explanations for why they might be seen as supporting evidence. 1. The lack of a detectable spin. According to mainstream science, the Earth rotates at roughly 1,670 kilometers per hour at the equator. However, we don't feel any motion, nor do we see any obvious effects of this spinning motion. If the Earth were rotating at such speeds, we should feel or observe this rotation in some way, such as through changes in flight paths or the behavior of projectiles. I can also ask why helicopters or airplanes don't have to account for the Earth's spin when hovering or flying in different directions. If Earth were truly spinning, then traveling west should take less time than traveling east, which isn't the case. 2. Gravity. I argue that gravity, as it is understood in the globe model, doesn't make sense. How a force can pull objects towards a spherical center of mass and instead believe that what we call gravity is better explained by density and buoyancy. According to this idea, objects fall because they are denser than the air around them, not because of a force pulling them to the center of the Earth. On a flat Earth, this would explain why things fall downward without needing a complex theory of gravity. 3. Lack of real-time global navigation or 24-hour flights over Antarctica. There are very few commercial flights over Antarctica, and this is because it would expose the true nature of the Earth's layout. There is no continuous 24-hour flights over the South Pole exist because Antarctica may be much larger than we are led to believe, or that it acts as a boundary to the flat Earth. There are lack of real-time, uncut footage of planes flying across Antarctica, which is suspicious. The horizon rises to eye level. No matter how high you go, whether it's in an airplane or with a drone, the horizon always rises to meet eye level. On a round Earth, the horizon would drop away from you as you ascended, but on a flat Earth, the horizon should always stay at eye level, and this is exactly what we observe. 5. Star constellations are always visible in the same patterns. The constellations we see in the night sky remain consistent over centuries. I believe that if Earth were moving through space at incredible speeds, as is claimed by the heliocentric model, Earth rotating, orbiting the Sun orbiting the galaxy, etc., we would expect to see a change in the positions of stars over time. Yet the constellations appear nearly identical today as they did thousands of years ago, which is the evidence that the Earth is stationary and flat. 6. The Moon and Sun's behavior. The Moon and Sun behave in ways inconsistent with the globe model. For example, they question why the Moon is visible in the sky during daylight, which shouldn't be possible on a spherical Earth where the Sun and Moon are on opposite sides at times. The lunar phases and eclipses can be explained without the need for a round Earth, and that the Moon might be its own light source rather than reflecting the Sun's light. 7. The idea that space is faked. Many of the photos and videos of Earth from space are either computer-generated or manipulated, with certain anomalies in lighting, shadows, and reflections as proof that space footage is faked. Space agencies are complicit in covering up the flat Earth by presenting a false image of a spherical planet. 8. No real-time, continuous footage of the Earth rotating from space, We have never seen real-time, continuous footage of the Earth rotating from space. While we have many images and videos showing a spherical Earth, these are stitched together or artificially created using CGI. If Earth were a spinning globe, it would be easy to show uninterrupted real-time footage of its rotation from space, but this footage has not been provided.
Let's address these points individually with scientific explanations. 1. Lack of detectable spin. The Earth's rotation, while fast at the equator, is not something we feel because of the concept of inertia. Everything on Earth, including the atmosphere, is rotating along with the Earth at the same speed. This uniform motion is why we don't perceive the spin, much like how passengers in a smoothly moving car don't feel motion unless the car accelerates or decelerates. If the Earth suddenly stopped spinning, you would certainly feel the change due to the immense force of deceleration. But in a consistent system, the forces are balanced, which is why we don't notice it in our daily lives. Also, projectiles and flight paths do account for Earth's rotation through the Coriolis effect, which affects wind patterns and large-scale motion, such as the direction of cyclones. Second, gravity versus density and buoyancy. The idea that density and buoyancy alone explain why objects fall is incomplete. Buoyancy explains why some objects float in a fluid, but it doesn't explain why objects fall in the first place. The force behind objects falling is gravity, which pulls everything toward the center of Earth's mass. If density alone were responsible, there would be no explanation for why heavy objects fall faster than lighter ones without external forces acting on them. Moreover, gravity's effects are measurable and consistent with large-scale phenomena, like how the moon orbits the Earth and how tides occur due to the gravitational pull of the moon and sun. This would be impossible to explain with a simple density and buoyancy model. Third, lack of 24-hour flights over Antarctica. Flights over Antarctica are rare due to the harsh weather, lack of emergency landing sites, and lack of demand. However, such flights do exist, and even more importantly, satellites orbiting the Earth regularly pass over Antarctica, taking consistent images of the continent. There is no conspiracy here. It's simply a matter of logistics and safety for airlines. Additionally, various expeditions have crossed Antarctica, such as those by polar researchers and explorers. These long journeys demonstrate that Antarctica is a continent at the bottom of the spherical Earth. 4. The horizon rising to eye level. The claim that the horizon always rises to eye level is not accurate. As you ascend, the horizon appears lower and further away, though this change is subtle at lower altitudes. This is easily testable with high-altitude flights or by observing from a mountain. On a flat Earth, the horizon would always stay at the same level, regardless of altitude. But that's not what we observe. The drop-off of the horizon is consistent with a spherical Earth. 5th, star constellations remaining consistent. The constellations do shift over time, a phenomenon known as stellar parallax. However, because the stars are so far away, this shift is extremely small from year to year. Over thousands of years, their positions do change slightly, but not enough for casual observation. Additionally, the stars you see in the night sky depend on your location. For example, people in the Northern Hemisphere cannot see the Southern Cross, and vice versa, which is consistent with a globe model. 6. The moon and sun's behavior. The moon being visible during the day is perfectly consistent with the globe model. The orbits of the Earth, moon, and sun result in phases and angles where both the sun and moon can be seen in the sky at the same time. This is especially common around quarter moon phases. The phases of the moon are caused by the relative positions of the sun, Earth, and moon, and this is well understood. Eclipses also perfectly align with the globe model, as they occur when the Earth or the moon passes into the shadow of the other, which would be impossible on a flat Earth. 7. Space footage being faked. There is no credible evidence that space footage is faked. Multiple space agencies, including private companies like SpaceX, produce real-time footage of space missions. Space missions are documented by multiple sources. An independent tracking of satellites further confirms that they are real. The idea that all these agencies would conspire to fake space exploration seems implausible given the thousands of scientists, engineers, and private citizens involved in the space industry. Independent satellite photos and real-time GPS data also confirm the Earth's round shape. 8. No real-time footage of Earth rotating from space. There are multiple real-time continuous footage examples of Earth from space. The Himawari 8 satellite, for instance, captures full disk images of Earth every 10 minutes in stunning detail. Additionally, live feeds from the International Space Station provide continuous views of Earth as it orbits the planet. While certain satellite images are composites, stitched together from multiple photos to cover larger areas, this is a practical method for creating high-resolution images of the entire Earth. Real-time footage of Earth's rotation is available and has been publicly accessible for years.